Hello, Maverick fans. Welcome to another edition of the Mavpuckcast with Jason.
And John.
Thanks, as always, for tuning in.
Hopefully it'll be an interesting episode for listeners this week.
You can't start that before I open my drink, dude.
You...
So, what are we drinking?
Well, I have today, Bridget found this for me. This is Hippo Size, is the brand. Hippo Size Jumbo Root Beer. Small bottle, big taste. Since 1927. It's been around a long time. I've never heard of it before. But when I was a kid, I collected hippopotamuses.
So it's a throwback root beer.
Yeah, it's a throwback for me. So
there you go.
Yeah, so I'm about to try this root beer, and we'll see if it tastes any different than, most of the root beer I have on this show.
Hopefully it's as good as the memories of the hippos.
Yeah, hopefully it is.
And the verdict?
It's good. It's not real strong. You know how sometimes they have kind of a bite to it? This one doesn't really have a bite to it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Although I used to drink Barks a lot, which is good.
I love
Barks
root beer.
Has bite.
It does have bite. It also, I think it has caffeine too. So I don't do caffeine. Maybe this has caffeine.
It's good with bourbon too.
Okay. I'll take your word for that.
So on that note, I've got White Rascal. It's a white ale from Avery Brewing in Boulder, Colorado.
Okay.
I am a big fan of Avery. They do some really, really good stuff. So I've actually had this before, but I'm bringing it back because I like it. And I'm hoping that if I drink something I like, we'll have a better result because the last 2 weeks have not been nice.
No, but it does have the word white in it. And
it does.
The white thing has not worked really since that Arizona State series when you did the white. What was it that you did the white?
Oh, that was the white Johnny Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that worked really good though.
But we'll hope this gets the job done.
We'll keep trying and maybe it'll come through. So
that's right.
So yeah, if you like white ales, it does have a little bit of a peppery kind of finish to it. It's pretty good. So
I'll take your word for it.
You don't want to try some?
No. No. I'm just glad the root beer doesn't taste like hippopotamus because that would not be. That
doesn't sound appetizing at all.
Not at all.
All right, so the dreaded talk about the last two games that I don't really want to talk about because it didn't go.
I'll just say I picked that we would. Not that I'm happy about this. I predicted on last week's episode that we would get swept this week.
That's right.
Although I will tell you, they could have proved me wrong either of those games. They had an opportunity to win.
Both games were
very,
very close.
Yep.
1-goal loss on Friday, and then I was really impressed with the way they battled back. They were down by 2 in the third. 2 pretty quick goals by North Dakota.
Yep.
And yet, we got a power play goal we were on the 5-on-3, I think. No. I think one of them got back, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Right. But yeah, so we got the power play goal to get within 1, and then we pulled Evan, and it worked out for us.
Yeah, a lot of times, you're just kind of dreading that. You're waiting for the inevitable empty net goal, and they got the job done on that one.
Yeah, it was it was kind of a little bit of a. I know the announcers were talking about being like a lucky play. I don't know. I mean, he fought hard and he was in the slot, and the puck goes off his skate and right to his stick. And
I'm really excited because Tristan Keck hasn't had a lot of puck luck this season, and he's a guy. I mean,
he was the one who missed the breakaway earlier in the game.
He's had a number of breakaways this season where he's going, and you're just like, I remember there was one up at St. Cloud in the first half of the season, and he was all alone, and you're like, it could turn the momentum if he gets it. It just didn't quite go in, and he hasn't had luck with those this year. So it was nice to see him. Get that late in the third to send it at overtime.
Yeah, I would say of all the players, he's probably had the most breakaway opportunities.
He has.
Just fortunately, kid hasn't finished on.
Just hasn't quite been able to put it away. So I'm glad he got that because that was a little bit of redemption for the kind of the tough season he's had this year. He's played so well, and he's one of the guys who hustles out there every single game, and it just hasn't always shown up on the score sheet for him. So I was really excited that he got that one. Sadly, we lost early in overtime, which seems to happen.
Yeah.
It's either happens like right away in overtime or like it goes the full overtime and then, both teams are tied after that. You know how it is. It's just like it either happens all of a sudden.
We haven't made it to a shootout yet, though.
We did make it to a shootout, didn't we?
Did we make it to a shootout?
Yeah, we made it to a shootout against Colorado College in the first half of the season.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember that one.
Remember the first game against them?
Yeah.
But we haven't had, and we won the shootout, and that's the only, I think that's the most successful overtime we've had this season. Union, the very first regular season game when we thought the team looked like they were going to do pretty good, we tied at Union in that very first.
Right.
Which I can't remember if I was sitting here watching that at your house and we recorded the podcast. It must have been this. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It might have been. Well, I don't know. I can't remember. It's been too long ago. October seems like it's been a long season.
That was
dude.
21 podcast episodes.
It has been. It has been. So, anyway, we had an opportunity in both of those games this weekend, and we just couldn't quite get it done. So that's been one of the tough stats this year. Is I think we've won 2 games total all season long on the road.
Yeah. I think the good news that came out of it was fairly early on in the first period of Friday's game because we let in like 40 shots on him, I think, in that game.
Yeah, it was.
Evan got the record for career shots for a goaltender for UNO. So that was kind of a nice thing for him. I think he's put in a lot of work, and I think that is very much a deserved place for him to be in the history of UNO hockey.
Yeah, hopefully, our goaltenders, next season and beyond don't have to face that many shots on an annual basis.
I was very impressed that we were even remotely in that when, especially after that first period. I mean, I think they had like 30 some shots at the end of the second. I was like,
yep.
Because at that point I tweeted like the game could end now and it would be bad. And we've still got a whole nother period to go and they're going to put like 20 more shots on us.
Yeah. I mean, they were on pace to put like 60 shots up on us.
And we've had games where they've come awfully close.
Yep. So that's awesome that he's the all-time saves leader for UNO. Beating Dan Ellis.
Yeah.
Now, Ellis was only here 3 seasons.
And Evan's been a starter for 4, hasn't he?
Yep, he has been. Yeah. And he's logged most of the minutes for UNO over the last 4 seasons.
Yep.
He will be missed.
So, one of the controversial things that happened in the game, obviously for people who weren't able to watch me, were listening to the radio or something, was fairly late in the game on Saturday. North Dakota player comes in, I think fairly, good intentions of, not wanting to run into him, but he leaves his feet, tries to jump over Evan, ends up hitting Evan in the head. There was no call on the play.
Right. Apparently they went to a hockey game and a track meet broke out.
Right.
So, they were trying to hurdle.
There was the 100-meter hurdles, and he kicked the bar.
Yeah. A lot of fans
So
were
they went back and
that.
reviewed it, and they ended up giving him only a 2-minute penalty.
Right.
What do you think of that
should have been a 5-minute major.
Do you think it should have been?
Sure. I'll say that.
Okay.
Because I would have liked to have been on a 5-minute power play. So
that certainly would have helped us out.
Well, I think the reason why a lot of UNO fans feel that way is because, we've had a lot of calls go against us that didn't seem that bad, but there was contact to the head.
Yeah.
And so they called a 5-minute. It was like a 0 tolerance policy that they had for most of the season. And this one, they spent a lot of time looking at that.
I mean, Galt got kicked out for one that the guy didn't even, he got back up, finished the shift, got off. I mean, he didn't miss anything. And it was, they went back and looked and tossed him for contact to the head. So we've talked before on podcast episodes and stuff just about our frustration with the consistency from game to game on some of those things, especially those types of things. And for me, like, I'm just looking at going, I appreciate that he didn't. I don't think he had any intention of
No,
doing
it was like, if you look at it just in terms of intent, I
Right.
don't think he didn't intend that at all. So
But the rule doesn't say anything about intent.
no,
And it's a clear charging call. I mean, he leaves his feet and makes contact with the player, which is the definition of charging.
right,
And the contact to the headpiece says if the principal point of contact is the head area,
right,
it should be contact to the head. Well, the only part he made contact with was the head.
Yeah.
So I still don't see how the referees look at that and say,
I know.
2 minutes. That's all.
I will tell you, it does kind of seem like the last, and disagree with me if you will, but it does seem like the last few weeks they've swallowed their whistle a little bit more. We haven't seen a lot of as much of the ticky-tacky stuff.
Yeah, I think they've put a little bit more focus on some of the bigger stuff.
Right.
And I think that's good. I mean, little slashes and hooks away from the play aren't a big thing, but
right.
when a guy's got a puck and a scoring opportunity, you have to make that kind of call, right?
Sure.
And I can understand that they probably were looking at it going, we don't want to be the decision. Like, we don't want our decision to be the one that dictates the result of the game type of situation.
Right.
But
especially considering that we have the NCHC playoffs coming up.
Yeah, and at that point in time, well, this was Saturday, so it was already locked. The basically everything was locked up other than
right. But what I'm saying is,
to
depending on what they call,
right?
North Dakota might not have that player available to them next weekend.
It's possible, and I really hope that the league goes back and looks at it, and hopefully by the time we post this podcast, there's an announcement from the NCHC that says, by the way, this guy's suspended. But because it really should have been. I mean, I feel bad for the kid, and I feel bad that North Dakota would have to be, without him. But I'm a rules guy. Like, that to me was letter to the law. I don't see.
Since they've been calling a lot of that kind of stuff during this season so far, you're like, well, continue to call it.
Why? And it worries me a little bit just going into the conference tournament.
Right.
Are we now in a position where we've said, okay, it's going to have to be, it's going to have to be major. It's going to have to be, really, really bad for us to call it contact to the head because we don't want to kick someone out in a conference tournament game.
I would tend to lean that way.
See, and I don't like that. If it's a penalty on the first game of the season, it's a penalty at the last game of the season. It's a penalty in every conference game.
I know, but nobody wants to have that on their.
I know.
On their conscience. Yeah. But
the players play the game, and they know the rules as well as anyone else. So
we say this, and then we'll have a string of 5-minute majors when we're up at Duluth next weekend. So
yeah, I mean, it's the ones that were obvious to me. Like, there were some where I'm like, okay, that sucks, but yeah, he made contact with the head. There was one, Jones got tossed out on one that the player was leaning forward. Well, yeah, I mean, when he's leaning forward and you're already coming to make the hit, he's leaning into you and his head is low. Like, there's some responsibility from the forward, but
and
by letter of the law, Jones should have been tossed.
Right.
And he was. And I hate it, but I understand it. And
sure.
This is one that I hate it, and then I don't understand it because it didn't end up the way.
Yeah.
And I had some people were telling me, like, well, if that was Morelli leaping over the North Dakota goaltender, then it would have been like a 30-second discussion and toss the guy, right?
Right.
And that's the part of me that I can't argue that against them, because I've seen these things going, why is it that we seem to get the short end of the stick, and then I swear to you the exact same thing happens, and it's 2-minute penalty instead of a 5 and 10.
I know.
So
I know. It makes you a little cynical.
It's just frustrating from a fan standpoint.
And we've had a lot to be frustrated about this season, so it's not like we
need
need anything more to be frustrated about. So we end the regular season 9-22-3.
Yep.
It's the fewest regular season wins we've had since the 2003-2004 season. We won 7 games in the regular season that season, and then we went and played a playoff series at Michigan where we won one of the games in that 3-game series with them, and so that took the total to 8. So we're a game ahead of that, but that happened to be Mike Gabinette's senior season, so it's kind of a tough run for the guys this year, especially in the second half. They played well against Denver last weekend. They played well against North Dakota this weekend, so they had a couple of good series.
They're playing good hockey right now, that's for sure.
Unfortunately, in those 4 games, they were only able to come out with a tie.
And now we have to go to Duluth.
Now we got to go to Duluth. Which, I mean, it's thankfully Miami did not win any games or get any points this weekend, so we won the various tiebreakers against them, and we ended up 7th, and we get to go to Duluth. So that's our reward. We don't have to play St. Cloud, but we got to play Duluth. So
right. But I'm sure. Well, we'll talk about.
Yeah, Duluth, we'll talk about that more later. But
get to Duluth. But
exactly.
So we go to Duluth. Ohio goes to St. Cloud. We've got Colorado College playing Denver.
A surging Colorado College will be playing. It reminds me there was one of those seasons where it felt like I think maybe we ended the season with Denver and then we had to go on the road and play Denver, and it was
last season, yeah.
It feels like we've played them, how many
times?
And
I think we had a series against them in February. Yeah. And then we played them back to back. We played them the last regular season game, and then we played them
my gosh, was that last season or was that?
I want to say it was last season, but it might have been the season before.
I cannot remember.
Are you pulling it up?
I'm pulling it up.
Good.
Just because all of our fact checkers out there are going to no, we actually went to North Dakota for the NCHC playoffs last year, but I remember that season. It was like, I just felt like I was Western Michigan the year before that. Okay, we're getting here. Not too many more.
We finished at Denver that year.
I think it must have been the 20. It was the 20. Yes, we did. Okay, the 2015-16 season.
There we go.
We finished at Denver on March 4th and 5th. And then we had to go back out to Denver, and we played an NCHC series against them on March 11th and 12th. So that was brutal.
Yeah, it's always hard playing the same team.
Yeah, it is.
Well, and Denver's got that again because they just finished up a series with Colorado College because that's their travel partner.
They haven't looked terribly impressive the last few weeks. Denver.
They're beatable.
They definitely are beatable.
Obviously, because Colorado College beat them.
Yep.
Now, the one thing is I think that I got to imagine Denver's not happy right now, losing to Colorado College.
I feel like they're going to be one of those teams that, because we've seen this in the NCHC before, where you've got a team that's kind of doing so-so at the end, and you're like, how are they going to do? And then they turn it on in the NCAA tournament. And I think that's very, very possible with that team.
And obviously, knowing as many people as I do back home in Colorado, there's a lot of talk about the team needing emotion, that they've just been kind of flat the last 3 or 4 weeks. And so that may be the jolt that they needed.
Sure.
Finish that way. And I mean, you had a chance to, going into the weekend, you had a chance to be second.
Yep.
So
they did. We had a chance to go out there and play if we'd finished 7th. So
right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
So we've got a former Maverick.
Yes.
And a new Maverick to talk about.
Yes, as we call that Old Bull and Future Bull, which you and I want to call Old Bull and New Bull, but we were told
we weren't allowed to.
No, that's not the official hashtags. And they're both named Austin. So one that fans are very familiar with, Austin Ortega is our Old Bull.
California hot sauce.
California hot sauce.
We have a sign for that still.
I know.
Maybe I should ship it out to Germany. So he got loaned out, which is a really interesting thing because we don't see that here in the States. Basically, what it is that he gets to play with another team, but that team doesn't pay him and doesn't own his
So he's been playing in Sweden this season.
Yep.
And the Swedish team, which is I can't pronounce the...
I'm not even going to try.
Lakers. I can do the Lakers part. So he played 31 games with them, and then he's on loan to the Eisbären Berlin or Berlin. I don't know.
The Polar Bears.
Why did we pick a guy in the Euro League? I don't know. Are they Well, you know what I love about those Euro Leagues? I love the jerseys with all of those. They look like a NASCAR.
They're like NASCAR
uniform.
jerseys.
Yeah,
right?
they're awesome. They're awesome. I want one of those. But Austin Ortega is...
Well, and they have the one player that doesn't have a number, which I think is always cool in the Berlin League.
Really? What is the one player with no...
Oh, yeah. The top scorer doesn't have a number.
Oh, I noticed that jersey that said top scorer, but I wasn't paying...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the top scorer gets this like emblem thing on his back and not a number. And it's really kind of crazy.
That is so weird. But I love it.
I mean, I don't know. Do they not scout? Is that why? Because
I don't know.
I mean, we went into every game, even when I was coaching high school stuff, and was like, yeah, we know exactly who on that team is the top scorer. You don't need to put it.
But here in this league, they advertise it, top scorers.
Yeah,
it's fan friendly that way. Just so you know, this is the guy who should be scoring goals. So if he's not, there's something terribly wrong.
In case you accidentally wandered into the arena,
you know what
this
it's like.
Is the guy
it's
you
like,
have to watch.
I think I've told you my Bridget's brother Sean, who passed away almost 2 years ago now, was a press officer for cycling teams, and it's almost like the yellow jersey after they win a stage. This guy gets top scorer. But looking at Austin Ortega, he may be the top scorer.
Yeah, so he had in the most recent game this past week, he had 3 goals and an assist. The last one being an empty net goal. The first one being a really nice power play goal. It was kind of remind me a little bit of Pope last season.
It does, where he's firing from the point. Yeah, exactly. They were pretty goals.
Yeah. So he has 5 goals, 8 assists in 6 games with the Polar Bears.
That's awesome. And that's better.
So he's doing really good in that league.
Because when he was with the Swedish team in 31 games, he had 3 goals and 9 assists. So 5 games in Berlin, he's lighting it up.
And hopefully he's just finding his legs there. Because
I hope so too.
European leagues are very much they should work for him. They're fast. They rely a lot on skating and speed, and not as much on physicality
on the big side, because he's a small guy. He's one of those small forwards. And we talked about Joey Martin last week. He was one of those small kind of forwards, under 6 foot, who the small speedy guys tend to do well in those Euro leagues. So I'm excited to see him doing well. I miss tweeting out my Ortega California hot sauce little graphic every time he did something great in a game. That was so much fun.
And we got to do that quite often.
I know. It was fun. He was one of our favorite players, so we loved him.
So our future bowl is another Austin, and that's Austin Roden.
Yes, and he's the new goaltender.
I can say fans have been asking us about next year.
Because we know that we're getting Isaiah Seville, who has been a statistical giant in Tri-City.
We expect that he's coming here.
We worry when we read some of these analysis sites where they talk about, maybe Seville should just go directly to the NHL. And we're like, no. So who knows? Austin Roden could be the guy.
Well, yes, because we've got Tomek playing back in Europe.
Yep.
At the international tournament.
We don't know if we assume he's coming back, but what if he decides to go play pro? He's an older guy.
That's happened. I mean, there was Maine lost a guy 2 years ago. Connecticut lost 3 guys that they sent over to play there that they had brought in that just weren't getting a lot of. I mean, they were just low guys, and they went over there and played and decided, we're just going to stay here.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely an option for him. So you never know.
But concerning. But
Austin Roden.
The plan right now is that we'll have Tomek back, we'll have Seville here, and Roden rounds out our goaltending core.
And I feel like, and this is just my prediction early on, I feel like we're gonna see quite a bit of him in the lineup next season. I'll be interested to. I'm not necessarily sure that Gabinet and company are going to ride one goaltender the way that they did Evan Wenninger. I think they're going to want to give some of these other guys some looks just in case. You know what I'm saying? Just in case.
I think that's up to these 3.
It is. It's up to how they play and how they perform.
If Seville comes in playing the way he's playing for Tri-City right now,
it's going to be
but these guys got no shot.
Yeah, exactly. But, going into this season, we thought that Tomek was going to be a guy who saw more playing time than he did, and it didn't end up panning out. So
But a lot of that was because he didn't, and I think that's
one of the things that
I get the feeling the plan coming in was that Evan wouldn't have to play every game.
Right.
He'd get, some breaks and stuff in
Take
during
some of the
season,
pressure
but
off of him. Yeah.
It never seemed to me like the coaching
No.
staff was comfortable with Tomek and
They
net.
never seemed
and it never really seemed like Tomek was comfortable there.
No, they never seemed particularly comfortable with him.
Yeah.
And so
maybe that's just the system, him coming in and he's just, getting used to it type of thing. And that very well may be the case. And
right.
And next year he may be, a lot better. He gets some playing time and stuff because I think it's good that he goes over there and he actually gets to play.
Sure.
But we just don't know. We don't know if they're coming back, and we don't know how well they're going to perform when they get here.
And like we said, the good news is we've got Austin Roden coming in, and this guy plays in the British Columbia Hockey League. It's a junior hockey league that we're familiar with because a number of our players come from that league.
Yep.
And one of our favorite players this season, Taylor Ward, played for the Pennington Vs in the BCHL. Mm-hmm. So Austin Roden plays for the Merritt Centennials. This is his second season. He split time between the Nanaimo Clippers and the Merritt Centennials last season. In 42 games, he has a 2.95 goals against average and a .912 save percentage. And you're like, what else you got for me here, John? I got other stats. Would you like some of these stats? His 9.31 save percentage last season ranked him second overall among goaltenders in the BCHL. Now, the BCHL is not a league that's known for having these kind of lights out, lock it down, defensive core and kind of...
say most of the really good goaltenders are going to one of the other junior leagues.
Right.
But here's the thing.
Yep.
He's definitely got some talent.
He definitely does.
And I don't think, hopefully Seville and Tomek have the mental presence enough to know that he's going to push them.
He will.
Like I know coach talks about this and stuff, but your job is not locked up. This kid could be their starting goaltender.
He's known for being a hard worker. Mm-hmm. I heard him referred to as a workhorse. And that's kind of goaltender. It's kind of reminds me of back in the, 05, 06, 07, 08 time frame, back when we had Jeremy DuPont was the hot goaltender prospect coming in, and Jared Kaufman was kind of the workhorse backup, and Jared Kaufman kind of became the guy during those years just because he worked his way into the lineup and hard work and tenacity paid off. So you never know in this situation what'll happen. It'll depend on what UNO looks like next season, and they may look very different offensively and defensively next season. It's just hard to say.
No, they're going to look different because there's a lot.
They're definitely going to look. Yeah, we're hoping they look different next season.
Yeah, that too.
It'll be fun with those fresh faces. So Austin Roden is the new goaltender. We got him like week before. There was a flurry of recruits a week or two ago.
A couple, yeah.
So yeah.
Well, so we get to break some bad news to the fan base.
We do get to break some bad news,
unfortunately.
Yes, and people
this is the downer portion of the Mavpuckcast.
There will not be a skate with the Mavs this season. We knew that it was canceled during our blizzard.
Well, they said postponed. That's the word they used.
But then this last week, people had their credit cards refunded for the dollar amount that they had spent on tickets for their kids to skate with the Mavs.
And, it's sad. It's unfortunate because what we heard at the Blue Line Club dinner was from Coach saying, they wanted to do more of these types of things. So, with him saying that, I was optimistic that they'd find a way to
maybe do one after the season or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Or say, okay, well, we can't do this, but maybe we can do something else.
Yeah.
But nope, sadly, unfortunately, the seniors will leave and they don't get, a last chance for the kids to kind of say goodbye and hang out with them. And so
it's always kind of a fun way for the kids to get to kind of skate and hang out with those seniors.
Yeah.
It's always fun for our nieces and nephews. I like to have the chance to kind of say hi to those guys and tour the locker room.
Yeah.
Again, get some pictures. It's always fun. I would say this. Like you said, Mike Gabinet said at the dinner with the Mavs a couple weeks ago that they hope to do more of this fan engagement stuff next season. And so I hope maybe they'll plan out some of these sorts of events early on, get them on a calendar. I know other college hockey teams do that where, in October, what all the events and all of the kind of the special occasion nights are going to be from the get-go, and you can plan for them. Yeah.
Yeah, this is when the Leap for a Cure night's going to be.
And this is when Star Wars night's going to be, and those kinds of things. So you can it's not like you just, it's like, oh, boom, we're going to do this, and we announced the week before, and, some people know, but a lot of people don't know. This way, have the chance to, kind of put it in with the season tickets even would be a wonderful thing. That way people could plan on these things and know that they're going to happen. And obviously you can't determine what the weather's going to be months in advance, but it would be nice if they scheduled like a skate with the Mavs a little bit earlier, and then maybe they had like a makeup date like a couple weeks later,
I remember the Los Angeles Dodgers used to do Dodger Dog nights where the Dodger Dogs were $1.
Yeah.
And there was a trick that a lot of people didn't know, but if you had season tickets or if you bought tickets off of a season ticket holder, was that there was a hot dog at the bottom of the ticket, and that was the Dodger Dog nights.
Oh, okay.
And so even though they didn't announce it, it was this like underground.
Oh, see.
Those in the know knew that if you wanted to go to Dodger Dog night, you just had to find the tickets that had the hot dog on them, and that was the Dodger Dog.
I see. It was like a Dan Brown Da Vinci Code kind of a thing where we're analyzing the symbols. This is when Dollar Dog night is.
Yeah, we didn't have to hold it up to a mirror upside down or anything like that.
Sure.
But yeah, it was.
Speaking of fan engagement, I'm going to throw this one out at you because you weren't prepared for this, but this just popped into my head. The Omaha Lancers announced for next season.
Yeah.
That with each paid adult season ticket,
right,
you can get a student or child season ticket for
$1 per game.
$1 per game.
Right. I mean, that's for a team that's trying to get butts in the seats.
It's a great way.
Yeah.
It was
The thing that gets me is like, okay, so I understand it's a business and you want to make money.
Sure.
And I've had people like, I can't believe they're doing this. They're going to lose so much money. I'm like, no, they're not. Do you have kids?
Do
you understand how much a game I hear? Can I have? I
see all the concessions your kids come back with.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, you sometimes you get a tax deduction popcorn. Other times you get the little chicken nugget, basket. Yeah. Oh yeah, when we bring our nieces and nephews, we get stuff all the time.
We have to run from, my oldest hockey game straight to a UNO game. So we eat at the rink, or we found funnel fries, and those things are like cocaine and they're crazy addicting, and they're really good, and we found stuff that we like there. And even if it's just simple, like we want Dippin' Dots and we want ice cream and we want all this little stuff, and our daughter put on her I think it was a Christmas list, maybe my birthday, doesn't matter, but she wanted a jersey. So there was one game where we went into the shop and bought her a jersey and gave it to her for her birthday or something. So
if you have,
a lot of that stuff comes up.
If you have the families there, and it helps you grow the next generation. And I think next generation of fans. And I think people sometimes discount, how important that is, because I mean, we kind of saw that this last weekend with the Big Ten playoffs. Minnesota was hosting Michigan, and somebody posted a picture of the Friday night game, and obviously they were going against the state high school hockey championships, which is huge,
which
up
sold
there.
Out the Excel Center.
But I saw the panorama that Gopher Puck Live had before at Faceoff of that Minnesota game, and there were like maybe a couple hundred people in Mariucci Ice Arena, and it was, I mean, it's just amazing against Michigan, which is a perennial been a good
conference
program.
Game. It's tournament. It's
but they don't include the tickets in the playoff package, and the tickets were $30 per person, and that's $120 to bring a family. I mean, it's just amazing. When I think back to my first UNO hockey tickets, it was $8.50 per seat per game, and you had like 20 games, so each season ticket was like $160, $170.
Okay.
I mean, it's amazing how you can spend that on one game at some of these venues now. So it's nice what the Lancers are trying to do to try to get the families to come back to the games, because that's an important thing for your future fan base to have those kids.
Yeah. And I like that they're putting it out there, and it's an opportunity to get. I like that it's eligible for renewals too.
Yeah.
So if you're renewing and you're a season ticket holder,
too. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because we've talked about that on the
Yeah.
podcast about, when they did was it Black Friday that they did that second half deal?
Yeah, and Bridget got those.
Jumped on some of those, right?
Got some of those, yeah.
So, I mean, that's our gripe back then was, as a season ticket holder, that kind of devalues what we spent all this money to have a full season, and I could have just waited and got a Black Friday deal and saved a ton of money.
Sure.
And,
I mean, I wouldn't do that, but
right, we wouldn't.
But
But
some
you're
people-
essentially telling people like this may exist.
yeah.
I mean, you're not good at saying these are the things that are coming this season, so
Right.
no one can really plan on things.
Right.
And if they did it before, maybe they'll do it again. So maybe I don't need to buy my season
That
tickets this
happened
year.
downtown when we were at the CenturyLink Center
Right.
during those years, as people just kind of hedged their bets.
We didn't we go to a ton of games
Yeah.
when they were down at the Clink, and I had season tickets because I could buy them on the newspaper auction site.
Yeah, and there were I know other people who did that
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
So we bought them on that. We won them on auction, and we ended up with, I think it was like half price basically, is what we ended up winning them for. And then after that, I was like, no one comes to these games, and so we were like, do you want to renew? I'm like, no, because I can go. And then they started doing the thing where 30 minutes before the game, you could get upper bowl tickets for $5.
yeah.
So you go down there and you hang out at a bar, get some food, walk over 30 minutes before the
Yeah.
game, get in for $5. You sit in the upper bowl for,
And then everybody would move
and
down.
then you move down.
See, there was a season where they did what were called Red Army tickets. So they were at the upper bowl end where the Red Army sat.
Okay.
And all of those sections, there were like 5 or 6 sections right around the Red Army, you could get $99 season tickets. So we did that one season.
Okay.
And we didn't just get our two, we ended up getting a bunch for the girl, Lauren and her
Family
sisters.
and
Yeah,
stuff,
the
right.
family came. We got tickets for them to come too. And that's part of the way that they became good fans were those cheap tickets. But
Right.
the university looked at that and they're like, oh, well, we sell these $99 season tickets, and then people are just moving down to the good seats in the lower bowl because there were ample seats in the arena
Right.
to be able to do that. So yeah, you always have to be careful about the discounts and freebies, but it'll be interesting to see, because it's always interesting to see what the Lancers,
How this pans out.
yeah,
for
how
them.
this pans out, what kind of success they have with those, as I get tongue tied there. Yeah.
is
So-
all we have left to talk about Duluth.
Yes. Will it be our final
right.
series of the season? Won't it be
It's playoff time.
our final series of the season? I
Need
don't
some
know.
like playoff music here.
This is your play. Are you going to play
Insert
something
playoff?
optimistic, or is it going to be a funeral dirge?
Well,
Well-
what do you think?
Well, I think that we've won 2 games on the road this season. And that was the reason why I picked that we would get swept at North Dakota this last weekend. Despite the fact that we played really well
We're
in North
playing our
Dakota.
best hockey though.
We are. We're playing much better hockey than we were early on in the season.
We match up pretty well with Duluth.
We match up pretty well with Duluth. The question is, are they going to be mad after getting swept by St. Cloud this weekend?
Yeah, I mean they'll probably want another shot at St. Cloud, but the weird thing about these, okay, they talk about them in college basketball because brackets are coming, and
Sure. I love
And we've
college
got that.
basketball time of season. Okay.
there's always the 12-7, the 7-12 matchup.
Yeah, you'll get there's certain matchups. It's like the 7-10 matchup. Is that what it is?
It's the 7-10.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
5-12, 7-10.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
mean,
are the ones where you get the upset specials.
that's
That's
where
what
you-
makes that NCAA
Insane.
March Madness so exciting.
1 versus 16 is like a given. Well, see here, my point is that I think that a 2-7 matchup in a tournament is more risky than like the 1-8 or even the 3.
Or even like the 4-5 matchup.
Right. Like 4-5s, I feel the team that's in 4th knows that this team's coming in is good.
So in our
So
conference,
they prepare well.
So in our conference, yeah, you pretty much know that. What is the 4-5 matchup this week?
North Dakota, Western Michigan.
Okay, why the hell on the College Hockey News website is it showing that Denver's in 4th and Western's in... Wait a minute.
Did they not update?
I don't think they did.
Or did? No, it is. It's Denver, North Dakota.
It is. Okay.
It is Denver, North Dakota.
That's where people are
That's
just
right,
like...
because they got swept by Colorado College.
So people are just like rolling their eyes. They're rolling their eyes in the podcast at us right now. You guys know what the hell you're talking about? Yes, we do. We're making this up as we go along. So yeah, that'll be an interesting matchup, that Denver-North Dakota matchup.
I'll take North Dakota in that one.
I
love Denver, but I'll take North Dakota.
I'll take North Dakota in that one too.
So
where are they in the pairwise? Where are they in the pairwise right now?
They went into the weekend 19.
Am I gonna have to look? I'm gonna look this up because I forgot to look it up.
5. No, because see, Lowell won, so
we're looking.
Are they tied for 17?
I don't know. Don't try and do a bunch of. Don't try a bunch of.
I'm trying to do math in my head, man.
Don't do any. Okay, so
trying to do pairwise math in my head. Come on.
North Dakota, according to College Hockey News, is in 18th right now.
Ouch. All right.
And Denver's in 7th. So anyway,
you have to be top 15, at least.
At least, because you don't know how many auto bids. You'll have to deal with that Atlantic Hockey auto bid, but you never know if there's going to be some funky upset out in like Hockey East, because we saw that last season where BC and BU were on the outside looking in, and I believe BU got the auto bid from that conference. So I would never discount like either of those.
Going into the series with us this weekend, what I saw was that North Dakota's got 2 ways in, basically.
Yeah.
Way 1 is to win the conference. Everyone has that way in. And way 2 was to get to the championship, lose in the championship, but get help from Penn State and Harvard mostly.
Yeah, if they go out to Denver and they get a sweep over Denver, that I would imagine will help there. I mean, we're not gonna go through all the scenarios.
But they've got a long way to go. They've got to go from 18 to at least 15.
At least.
If not 13, 14 maybe?
Yeah.
My guess is 14 get in. I don't know that 15 will get. I think 15 will be first out. That's the way I have it shaped up right now.
Remember last year, that's what happened. It was crazy that way.
There's one year that it was 12. There were so many upsets in conference tournaments, it ended up that 13 was first out.
It's crazy.
It can be nuts out there. So,
in our focus right now is Omaha, Duluth.
Well, before we get to
okay,
hold on here. Since we talked about North Dakota, Denver, we might as well just take picks for the rest of the teams, right?
Yeah,
and we'll finish with ours. All right, so we both have North Dakota.
Yeah.
Yes? Or are you going to take Denver? Are you going to switch already on it?
Well, the problem is I'm going to the NCHC Frozen Faceoff, and I thought it'd be more relaxing.
You don't want to do North Dakota?
I thought it'd be more relaxing if North Dakota wasn't there. It'd be kind of a calmer environment. There'd be, more room to kind of, move around. That's really selfish, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to go with North Dakota.
All right, so we both take North Dakota there.
Yep.
Let's do
Western Colorado College.
Western and Colorado College. At Western.
I don't know. Western. Both of those teams.
Western's been struggling, man.
You know what's interesting about that matchup? Those teams are both kind of enigmas. I mean, Western has been struggling. They did take care of business against Miami, which I mentioned on the podcast last week. I wasn't sure that they would do. I thought Miami might come out with a win or a tie on senior night or something, but that didn't happen. So you got Western against Colorado College. It's a very interesting matchup.
I'm going to take CC.
Oh, you're going to go for... Wow, you're going for 2 upset specials here. I'm going to go with Western. I'm going to say Western gets the job done.
At home?
At home.
Okay.
Against CC. Although I said on Twitter like a week or 2 ago that I thought Colorado College was going to be the most dangerous low seed.
That's...
in the NCHC playoffs.
They're clicking and Leclerc's playing well in net. So that's and Leclerc's really the
he's the key.
He's the linchpin for me.
Well, and in postseason hockey, you've got to have good defense and good goaltending, which is something that they have. So forget it. I'm going to go with Colorado College like you. We'll go with 2 upset specials. I'm changing my mind.
So we're both doing upsets in the middle of the bracket.
I don't want Western to win.
We'll skip.
We'll skip UNO.
Skip ours for right now. So St. Cloud, Miami.
Oh yeah, St. Cloud.
I say,
I mean,
that would be the upset of all upsets. I don't see how Miami gets out of St. Cloud.
we say that now, and they'll go in there
I
and
know
they'll win on Friday, and we'll be
they'll
like,
make liars out of
"What
us.
the
But
hell?"
St. Cloud looks really good. If they do, I don't think Miami wins. I think St. Cloud loses if they lose. They control this game right now, and they're
Yeah.
looking really good. And if they can't, if they can't do it, they don't deserve it,
Right.
for sure. And they're getting in no matter what, so they don't have a whole lot to play for. But I just don't see the talent on Miami to pull that off in St. Cloud.
I don't either. I mean, maybe if they put together like just a spectacularly good game, maybe they get one game and they catch St. Cloud sleeping. But St.
But they
Cloud
need
hasn't.
two.
St. Cloud
Right.
hasn't let up. That's the thing. They haven't let up here at the end of the season. Like
I
some of
say
these
they
teams.
keep coming at you even
do.
when they get multiple goal leads.
Like
so.
we said, they come at you in waves. So yeah,
Right.
I would definitely go with St. Cloud taking
All
that
right.
series.
So now we've got our series. Now we've got Duluth and
Yeah.
UNO. We've got two upsets. You want another upset?
Well, I definitely want another upset.
Wouldn't mind it.
I wouldn't mind it either. Do I think that they can go up there and win a best of 3 series against those guys? No. Because we've only won 2 road games all season long.
I think we can win one.
Okay.
I think we've played well the last 2 weekends.
We played well at Duluth in January. Was that January that we played up there?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. We only played one series against them, so we don't have
right.
a lot to work with here.
See, that's the other thing is that I think that we're a different team than the last time they saw us. And so I think the guys are motivated. It's senior season. There's a lot of emotion there. I think they can get one win.
Okay.
I don't know that they can get two. I don't think so. I think Duluth is good enough, but I will say Duluth wins 2 and UNO wins 1, and we have to watch a Sunday game, but I could be wrong. I would not be surprised if I'm wrong on that.
You know what, though? That will probably happen because it'll completely throw off when we record the podcast. So yeah, we'll be recording the podcast at 10 o'clock next week after the third Duluth.
You have to
Omaha
come over
game.
to watch the game then, huh?
Yeah, I'll come over and watch that game.
Come over and watch the Sunday game.
Yeah. I'm going to say we get swept by Duluth.
2 in, 2 out, huh?
Yeah, my apologies. And I know I've been the optimistic all season except for the last 2 weekends, but I'm going to say we get swept by Duluth.
That's why I went first, because I didn't want to feel like obligated.
Exactly. So I would love it if they got if they were able to get out of there with a couple wins and go to the NCAA. Wouldn't that be cool if this was the season they finally get to the neutral site, conference finals? That would be awesome if it was during a 9-win season that we do that. And keep in mind, during the 8-win season, they went on the road to Michigan and they took that series to 3 games. So it's very possible that they do the same thing at Duluth this weekend.
Sometimes desire has a way of squeaking something out, right?
Yeah, I would love that.
So we'll see. So we've got, I think I saw 7 o'clock starts.
Okay.
Both Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
And then, if necessary, a Sunday game. Although I didn't see anything for, it's just a TBD.
No.
So
and you'll be able to watch those on NCHC TV. I don't know about any,
I haven't heard about anyone picking it up locally. So
Cox Cable Channel 3,200.
252.7.
Yeah, or any satellite channels. I don't know about that, but it's possible it'll be on something. So,
and if it comes up, you do a nice
yes, we always do
preview
that.
blog.
Yes,
that will have that in.
Yeah, we do a series preview blog on Mavpuck.com, and then we'll tweet that out right before the game on the Mavpuck Twitter account. So be sure to follow us on those channels. You can also follow us on Facebook. We don't have Instagram yet. Maybe next season. We'll see. And you can find links to all of those on Mavpuck.com. So until next weekend, go Mavs.
Go Mavs.